writing a poem every single day, and I looked for things for holidays. Hey, could there be something going on? And today is Cliche Day.
Is it really?
Whoa.
Which is why he said, "Dust till dawn and woman's work is never done."
Cliche.
You're taking cliches. And
Yes.
so I tried to write a poem pretty much entirely consisting of cliches.
For Cliche Day.
Yes, and it's called Keep Your Chin Up.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
ignorance is bliss, and they say love is blind. And for you, I was all in. I gave 110%.
Yeah.
Because you can't judge a book by its cover when actions speak louder than words. And then they say you can't please everyone, though what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So I had to think outside the box when all is fair in love and war. Because everything happens for a reason. And as I say, where there's a will, there's a way. For if misery loves company, let me at least be lucky in love. If I'm going back to square one, I'll go back to the drawing board. I won't beat around the bush when you're my better half. I'll burn the candle at both ends. I'll burn the midnight oil. Because come hell or high water, I'll go against the grain. I'll go for broke. Because for all intents and purposes, we're two peas in a pod. I have such high hopes when you make me as happy as a clam. In other words, you make the sun rise. You're the bee's knees. You're the icing on the cake. So I'll keep my chin up and I'll keep my fingers crossed. In this labor of love, I'll let my hair down. So, needless to say, our moment in the sun will be our moment of glory. Mark my words, nothing ventured, nothing gained. You're one in a million. You're the apple of my eye. You're pure as the driven snow. Not fresh fallen, but driven.
Whoa.
And this is why it's right as rain, and my only choice is to seize the day. It takes two to tango, and I'm the real deal. See, you're too good to be true, so I'll take my chances. You only live once, so let's take the plunge. Every single line. A couple have two. I'm like, how many non-cliche words do I have to use to make this happen? I don't know. We'll see. One of the cool things about the magazine around cc&d magazine, it used to be saddle-stitched and I left it in bookstores and then it was in big pages and then I started having it so that you could print them in books, and now they are released as Amazon ISBN books. And I write online, if there's anybody from an old issue that would like their thing reprinted, I'd be happy to do it. And I'm holding two of them are right here. One person happened to ask for volume 184, which was May 2008. And this happened to be the cover of it, which I think is just the funniest thing, that this one happened to be the cover, this guy, this tongue sticking out. Anywho, there are supplement sections in the back. I thought I'd read some of them for you. None of these, I don't think they're necessary to applaud to. I think they're things that are like supposed to make you think, and you know, that kind of thing. So I don't know. They're from 3 different supplements that happened throughout 2008, and this first one is called Death. When he was a child, a little boy, he would walk through the living room over and over again, and he would see the book on the shelf, a science book, a volume from a set, a book about how the world works. Once he looked through the pages, found a drawing about the life of planet Earth, how it was formed, a drawing about the life of the planet Earth, how it was formed, how eventually the temperature would rise, all life on Earth would eventually die. And seeing that it was millions of years away didn't help. And reading that it was a million years away didn't help, and it didn't shake the fear, instant panic that he felt. And so he took that book and hid that one volume from the rest, so he wouldn't have to see it when he walked through his own living room. So we've got a few in here that'll be that, so I'm preparing you for a couple of these. These were based from quotes. This first one, and this was done at a radio show in Chicago. Not that you are interested. It's called The Gift of Motherhood, Part 1. He started in on me again last night. He had too much to drink, came home drunk, and started yelling at me. He got home at 10:30, but he wanted to know why his dinner wasn't warm. And then he wanted to wake up the kids and play with them. But I told him it was a school night and they needed a night's rest. I swear, I can't tell anyone this. I have to get the bruises from everyone. Tell them that I fell down the stairs or that I burned myself when I was cooking dinner and I tripped and I fell over one of the kids' toys or a vase from the bookshelf that I was actually cleaning fell and hit me in the face. I've had to come up with so many excuses. I know, but what would it be like if I lost him? And how would that work if I had to take care of, how would that work? And how could I work and then take care of the kids? How would I be able to, maybe go to college? I know I keep making up excuses, but I have to, for the kids. And that's why, thank you. This one's called Thank You, Woman. Thank you, women who work. Thank you, women who work, because you take on the responsibility of men while still having to be mothers, wives, good little daughters, and feminine creatures. Thank you, women who work, because you're the ones that we can blame when the family falls apart. Thank you, women who work, because you make a point of doing more than your fair share without being paid fairly, even though no man would ever think to do the same for you. Thank you, women who work, for you know you have to prove yourselves over and over and over again, and it still isn't enough, so keep up the good work, ladies. This one is called Kuypers. I'm back at my old college hangout years later, sharing some beers with an old friend. And then I remember being there with a friend who used to work there. She told me about the women's bathroom. In all my years, I had never been there. She said, women write on the wall, at the left of the stall, women write that they've been raped. They name names. There were arrows pointing to other women's messages saying, I've heard this before. First names, last names. When she told me of this years ago, I walked in, read the names, and wrote down one of my own. I forgot about that wall until now, and I am back, just yards away from that bathroom door. I get up, walk, open the door, years later. All the names are still there. Jake, Jay, Josh, Larry, Matt, Scott. I can even still see my own handwriting. It didn't take long to find it. I don't think I'm skipping ones over because I a series poems, and I might have a couple of these in here scattered throughout, but different shows. This one is called Childhood Memories 1. There's like a series of like 9 or 10, so this is 1.
Childhood memories 1.
It's 56.
I was in the basement, the playroom. That's where all my toys were, you see. And I had just run in there after yelling at my family, sitting in the living room. I hate you.
Thank you so much.
No, I've never said that before to my family, nor would I ever say it again. I know better. And I had just run into the playroom, slammed the door shut. I couldn't have been more than 5. And I ran in and I looked for things to put in front of the door so that they wouldn't be able to open it and find me. I looked at one of my chairs from my little play set and dragged it over to the door. And then I took that little schoolhouse from Fisher Price Toys. The side opens up and it has this chalkboard, blackboard and everything on it. I took that little schoolhouse and I put it on that chair, guarding the door, patiently obeying my orders. I was running around looking for something else that I could carry to the door when I heard the doorknob turn. And my sister, with one arm, pushed all of my toys away and opened the door. I knew I had been defeated.
Oh. Wow.
This one is called Christmas Eve. We made dinner, fettuccine alfredo with chicken and duck, vegetables, bread. We ate and couldn't finish everything. We were putting on our coats, getting ready to go to midnight mass. I decided to pack up our leftovers, give them to some homeless people on the main street. We got in the car and drove to Broadway and Berwyn. I got out of the car, walked over to a man there, asked him if he was hungry. I got the bowl of noodles and the gallon of milk out of the car. Another man walked over to me. I told them to promise that they would share. I got in the car. We were just driving. And all I could think was that these 2 men were in the cold, eating pasta with their fingers on Christmas Eve. I don't think I'm going to do Flood of War Memories, because oddly enough, that's a sad one. I'm trying to pick I've done that too much, blah, blah, blah. This is, I think, the last poem that was read at that radio show that I talked about. This is called There I Sit. There I sit. I sit alone, separated, isolated, away from my only love, my obsession. I pull out a fountain pen. I look at the lines, the contours of his face, defining the piercing eyes, the pointed nose, the tender lips. I feverishly draw, I sketch, I capture his image. I stare, I gaze, I memorize his every detail, but he never looks back. So I will draw until my fountain pen runs dry. Okay, I've got time. Okay, so this is from the beach retreat. So, and then we'll figure it out. This one, I have no idea. It's called Alexi. She was the type of woman who loved the thrill of the chase and the risk of adventure. Her favorite fruit was the forbidden. I'm not good and I'm not bad. I'm Alexi. and when she set her sights, she knew it would be an uphill battle. But she loved the battle. And that's what made Alexi more appealing. I haven't read this one either. These are all strange. This one's called Outpatient. I'm here in outpatient therapy after surviving a near-fatal car accident. I've relearned how to walk and talk and eat, but there are some here that still struggle with the most basic of tasks. There's a child here who uses a color pack of crayons with his coloring book. I don't know how many colors are in the pack of crayons, that they're not Crayola, that much I've gathered. The boy is with his mother, and the mom seems to have a better grasp of language than the average adult. Does the mother or the son have a patient here? I've always wanted to ask about any new patients. There's a little boy. This little boy can speak well and walk. That's important for little boys, to be able to walk and talk well. I wonder if the average patient here learns to walk or dress or talk or learn or eat. I've learned that while I was still in the hospital, but this is just something I wonder about periodically. And I don't usually interact with the other patients, so I'm forced to wonder about these things from time to time. I think I've shared this one to somebody here before, but this one's a funny one. This one's called Catching a Muscovy. One year, Doc Wiggins decided he wanted to shoot one of the Muscovy ducks and have it for Thanksgiving. As far as ducks go, the Muscovy are pretty ugly. The males look something like turkeys, and in southwest Florida, in the heavy populated area, they are so used to people that they will just walk right up to you, expecting food. Well, one year, bless his heart, Doc Wiggins decided he wanted to shoot one for Thanksgiving dinner. So I taught him how to use my rifle, and we went to a nearby lake. And then Doc started to worry. What if my billet ricochets off the water and hits something else? So he was in a bit of a panic, trying to figure out what to do. So I told him to just sit tight a minute. And sure enough, a Muscovy walked right up to him and looked up at him. So Doc looked at me, and then at the duck, and then just picked it up and walked away. It's just picked it up and walked away. It's a short one that changes. As the children got older, borrowing the car, or got picked up by friends to go out, and when one was leaving, Mom would always joke around and say that she was going to change the locks, or Mom and Dad were going to move away and leave no forwarding address. They never did that, though. They were always there. I had said childhood stories. This one is a different one, Childhood Memories 5. I was in 5th grade, and I had Mr. Whoop for a spelling and English teacher. He was a great teacher, but there was something I'll never forget about his class. You see, he had this honors spelling team called the Tough 10. And once we had to learn the word pneumono-ultramicroscopic silicovolcanoconiosis. It is a form of black lung disease, the longest word in the English language, the second largest in the world. I can still remember it to this day. And when giving us weekly spelling tests, he would say a word and then use it in his sentence. And when the word doctor came up, he would say the word, then recite the lyrics, "Doctor, doctor, give me the news. I've got a bad case of..." And then he'd get embarrassed and he'd laugh and we'd all just say, "Loving you." And we'd all laugh too, write the word down and wait for him to give us the next word. I thought I would read a few more from it, and they are pieces that were a beach poet's thing. Sometimes you look for a place to be able to have a regular poetry open mic, and a lot of places want you to pay or whatnot, and one woman in Chicago years ago, she's like, fine, I'm gonna get a thing and make sure that this is okay, and we're gonna pick this one same spot on the beach during the summer every year, be beach poets, and we would have features, and that's gone on for 25, well, that was 20 years, it's probably 28 years that she's been doing that there, yeah, so. So, if you can't find a space, there might be a space somewhere in public just to be able to do something like that, which you couldn't do it year-round on the beach in Chicago. It might not be fun. And she ended the show this one time. She was there late, and cops were coming by. They're like, "Sorry, you have to go. The beach is closed." And she's like, "What? Like, what happens to the beach? Does it go away at night? What do you mean it's closed?" So she made this funny thing about, like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Like, sop up all the water? How does that happen? And she would read that at the end of every one. And now that I've just talked way too much about this performance piece, I'm going to read some poems that were read at one of them for you. And they have no theme. I have no idea. So we'll just see how it goes. This one is called Climbing Trees. It was written with 2 people. If I couldn't climb trees, I'd wish for a tree house, so I could see the world from a different view, so I could feel like I have conquered. Big trees, more fun, that's what I'd think. Then, when I'd get just above the height of our roof, our garage, as a matter of fact, then that fear would set in. Not fear of falling from where I was, but of going higher. But what was too high? One of my coworkers decided one day that he wasn't going to try anymore, that no one cared if he did a good job, so he just wouldn't bother. And I thought, your coworkers shouldn't be the scale that you judge yourself on. You should be your own scale. You should be trying because you need to know that you can do better than what you are. And then I thought, maybe he never climbed trees. This one's called Conscious of It. Only when I'm conscious of it, only sometimes, I think of you as still alive. I couldn't make it to your funeral at the other side of the country, but maybe I should have made it to your funeral. Maybe I should have been there and seen your body. Maybe I should have seen the color of your skin. Or maybe looked hard enough to see anything near your lips where they try to keep you together. Maybe I needed to see these things. But I don't know if I was ready. I don't know if I am ready. If I had gone, maybe I wouldn't have so much to say to you. Maybe I would expect you to come back. Maybe then I wouldn't want to touch your face and feel your skin. Maybe it would be easier that way. It's humorous. This is a true story. I swear it's a true story, but it's not me. This piece is called False Suicide. A woman called the station once, said, "My daughter has been depressed lately, and she's talking about killing herself. And she's an early riser, and she hasn't returned any of my calls. Could you go over there? I'm afraid something terrible has happened." And so we said we'd go there, and we got into the squad car, and we went over to the woman's house. All the doors were locked, and we started looking through windows, and I saw her on the bed, stark naked, with her tongue sticking out, quite dead looking. Now, this is kind of strange because women usually commit suicide dressed well. In all my years, I ain't never seen a woman commit suicide naked. Well, my partner kicked the front door down with his one kick, and we went back to the bedroom. And I was going to grab her hand to see if rigor mortis had set in, if she was cold, and see if she was like stiff. And that's when I grabbed her hand, and she jumped up and screamed. And then she saw another police officer with me, and she started to calm down. And we said, Your mother thought you might have killed yourself, and she knows you're an early riser. All she said was, damn mother, under her breath. It's not me. Not me. Cop would say these stories, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I just have to write these down. Or something, they're just the best. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, this one's called Hiding Vices. It starts with a quote from John Leroy Coffin. No idea. The way I see it, the Bible is so popular because of its many confusions, in which it is possible to hide any vice or combination of vices. That's the quote. I met a man once who told me that he prayed to God every night. Now, I know better, and he was no Christian, maybe born one, maybe baptized, but I knew he had notches on his bedpost. So I asked how he could justify being a Christian and having sex before marriage. And he said, it doesn't say in the Bible that you can't have sex before marriage. And so I checked, and the closest thing I could find was thou shalt keep thy marriage bed pure. And I wonder who misconstrued the words first. It's called Twin. Bigger pieces to make you think, what? What? This one's called Twin. They tell me I was born 2 months premature, the first of twins. They tell me it was difficult, my birth. I still can't hear in one ear. I have an indentation on my chest on my right side from where they had to stick a tube in me to keep me alive. They tell me they kept Douglas alive for 3 weeks, but he just couldn't survive. I wonder what it would have been like to have someone look just like me. We could switch places, fool everyone. We'd be inseparable. My family doesn't talk about him much, but sometimes I still think of him. Maybe with medical world today, he would still be alive. Sometimes I feel like I'm not whole. This one is called Masquerade. When you see the price they pay, I'm sure you'll come and join the masquerade, you say. And you ask me to the masquerade, and I willingly comply, but I'm tired of wearing this dress, for the feathers in this costume won't stop licking my face, and you cannot see the tears falling behind my mask. When you see the price they pay, I'm sure you'll come and join the masquerade, you say, but the price is too high, for I don't want to wear a mask with you, and I would only hope that I don't have to. These are the strangest poems, but I'm reading them for you. This one's called Raking Leaves. Too many leaves. Let me help you, I say. Let me hold this bag from you. You've grown so much. You're doing all this hard work now, and every year there seems to be more and more leaves. It's too much for your father to do. Too many leaves. Why does it seem to be so many more this year? They almost cover all the way up to our windows now. Next year, you won't even be able to see our house anymore. The leaves will take over. It'll be like the house was never even there. Too many leaves. Won't you help me, my son? You're so good. I got nothing for themes, and that's right around 15. And then I get to hear me sing it. This one's called, they called it Trust. Do you remember when it was 11:30 p.m. one night and you asked me what I wanted to do? I told you that I wanted to take a bottle of champagne and climb onto the roof of your house and toast into the pouring rain. You asked me why I said that, and I just shrugged, just said flippantly, it's something to do. But I was testing you. I was afraid to ask if you would follow me if I told you to trust me. And that is when I trusted you, when you poured champagne and I kissed you. We'll see, this was called The Tribe. They tried to hold me down. They tried to keep me in. They didn't understand. I was different, they said. As day after day I led my life with the interrogation lamp shining into my face. They tried to change me. They tried to bend my will. They wanted to break me. We don't like you, they said. But every day I faced the battle in splendid silence, knowing that all like me would understand me and thank me. They tried to make me beg. They tried to make me cry. They wanted me to conform. We don't need your type, they said. And I ignored them, for I couldn't let those who didn't understand and didn't want to learn or respect or treat me as human destroy me. Exactly. As weird as we can all be.